Welcome to Fantasy Legends, my name's Scott, and today we're going to rank all of the summons in Final Fantasy X. So we'll go from my least favourite to my favourite. These won't be based on just power alone, also aesthetics, usefulness in combat in terms of different situations, just things like that, which ones I'm more likely to use myself. And we'll go from there. Now, before we start, if I could ask if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, it really does help out. Now, let's get on with the video. At number 8, and there's always got to be a last place, and in this case, it happens to be Ifrit. Even though he is a solid attacker, and he actually has a lot of defense as well, he just seems to be very situational, as he's a fire dealer. If you're fighting people that are fire-based and heal you through fire, they're brilliant. So against the bombs and enemies like that, he's literally invincible. However, this is all situational. If you go against someone that so happens to be strong against fire, then literally he's useless. So that's why he's at my bottom of my list today. What I will give him, though, is Meteor Strike and Hellfire are amazing abilities, if I'm honest with you, in terms of aesthetics. And I do like his look very much in this game. In terms of a demon coming out from hell, is quite nice. At number 7, we have Shiva. Now, she can use her ice attacks to freeze enemies. She does have a lot less HP than all the other summons. However, she does make up for this with her high evasion and speed. One of the things that are very useful for her in combat is that she can actually grant the threatened status to enemies when she attacks them, making it impossible for enemies to escape her. She also obviously gets healed by ice attacks, a bit like how Ifrit gets healed by fire attacks. The one also benefit is that you could put her with haste, which would make her a real big powerhouse in terms of enemies, as with the icy grasp and haste on top of this, just makes it very hard for the enemies to attack back. Next up, we have Ixion at number 6. Now, he's really great in terms of high magical attack and high magical defense, making him exceptional at striking down mages. Again, he gets the added bonus of healing from lightning, and also the fact that obviously he deals lightning damage, so situationally he's brilliant against certain enemies in terms of, elemental effects. The reason I have put him above Shiva and Ifrit on this list is mainly his Aero Spark ability, which I find really useful, as not only does it do elemental damage, but it also dispels all positive enhancements from the enemy, and this can be very useful in certain battles. Right, now let's move on to number 5, and we have Valfor. Now, he's the first summon that you get, and to be honest with you, is not really super strong. However, you do get 2 overdrive limits, whereas compared to all the other summons, you only get 1. I love the fact that this Aeon is original to this game as well. That sort of bumps it up on my list, to be honest with you, rather than the generic Aeons that they put in every game, as I like a bit of a different story and a bit of outtake. So the Aeon climbed up a bit in my list in that regard. But also, not only just that, the Aeon also has a special attack called Sonic Wings that can delay enemies' turns, which is very useful in terms of battle utility, especially on later on games. As the Aeon's speed stack climbs, it makes it easier to lock down the enemies, as they have to wait longer for turns while you get 2-3 turns before they even get 1. At number 4, we have Jimbo, and this probably will surprise a lot of people, as it probably be higher on some other people's lists, I guess. But for me, it's mainly the paying mechanic that I'm not a big fan of, if I'm honest with you. The amount of gil it costs just to do a powerful attack, when some of the other Aeons can just be super powerful and doesn't cost a penny, to be honest with you. Another negative for me is that the Aeon doesn't actually have an overdrive limit, which is a bit of a shame, really, because what I do really love about Jimbo is the style and aesthetic of the Aeon itself. I love the samurai look. He looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. The reason he is higher on this list than some of the other Aeons that we've spoke about previously, like Shiva and Ifrit, is, to be honest, is because he can attack very powerfully. Yes, it costs skill, like I said, that which is a big negative for me. But the fact that he is super powerful and is a bit OP in some cases, that makes him just climb up on the list just for that, really. At number 3, we have the Magnus sisters. Now, again, they're really, really powerful, and there's 3 of them. However, one aspect I don't like is the fact that you've got RNG involved, as you don't give them direct commands. You just really give them suggestions, which for me is not really great, if I'm honest with you. To be honest, however, they are very, very powerful, and they can normally defeat most enemies that you go up against, to be honest with you, in the game. So they do deserve to be quite high up on this list. Also, the aesthetic of them is quite cool. You know, you've got 3 sisters, and they all have a unique style sense. Right, and now we've reached the last 2 of our list. And for number 2, we have Beaumont. Again, very powerful summon. Obviously is in nearly every single game, so in terms of originality is not really original. However, he does boast very high HP, defense and power. What pushes him up so high on this list as well is the fact that he does non-elemental damage, which, as you can imagine, the utility of that is amazing. So you don't have to worry about, you know, the elements and who you're attacking, really. And the Mega Flare is just, you know, out of this world, to be honest. He's an amazing overdrive in terms of most of the others, to be honest with you. Another advantage to Bahamut is he's the only storyline Aeon that is capable of immediately surpassing the damage limiter. On a personal note as well, I really do love dragons, and being the king of the dragons and the aesthetic in this game, to be honest, is one of my favourite Bahamuts. So we finally reached the number 1 on my list, and that is Anima. And to be honest with you, this choice was quite easy, because not only does her stats mainly exceed Bahamut's in most categories, but also just the story of Anima. If you know the backstory of Anima, you'll know that it's very detailed in terms of the other Aeons, and just a sad story, really, being Seymour's mother. It really does compel me, makes me one of my favourite Aeons in, and if not summons in the Final Fantasy franchise. Another added bonus with her is her pain attack as well, and it can not only deal massive damage, but can also in some cases give instant death, as well as her overdrive, which is also incredibly powerful, to be honest with you. So there you have it. That was my rankings for Yuna's summons from Final Fantasy X. Would you have put them in a different order? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm interested what other people think, or like what's their favourite summons, things like that. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for listening.